If you want to earn good money, it's good to go to places where everybody else is too afraid to go to. I can't tell how many times people go like, why are you a GI doctor? I'm like, the money doesn't stink. It doesn't stink. I get to serve and the money doesn't stink. Welcome to the MoneyFitMD show. I'm Dr. Latifat, the founder of MoneyFitMD. We want to change the narrative where women physicians use. My job is to let you know that's going to be. I have to surround myself with people that are doing crazy. Hi, everybody. How are you? I hope you guys are doing well. I wanted to just come in here and chat with you guys about something that I believe is super duper important and will be of value to you. And I know that some of you guys may be seeing this topic and it's already like, you're like, oh my goodness, yes, please, Latifat. Right. For those that I haven't met, I'm Dr. Latifat. I'm the host of this party. I'm a GI doctor. And I am excited that I get to hang out with you guys, founder of MoneyFitMD, which includes our podcast and also the Money School for Women Physicians and all the other amazing things that we do to support women physicians. I have been thinking about this and actually was talking to my husband not so long ago about some of the unique challenges that women physicians face when it comes to being breadwinners. And if you're like, I don't know if I'm a breadwinner, I got you. I'm going to talk about that. And, I love in a group this size, we're very, very diverse. We have people that are single, double, looking to be doubled, not looking to be doubled, right? And one of the things that I found from speaking with so many women physicians is that there are definitely unique challenges that women physicians that are also breadwinners deal with. And this is the case whether you're divorced, you're single by choice, but as long as you're the primary breadwinner, there are definitely some things that you go through that sometimes may be hard to verbalize or talk about in the world. And I think sometimes part of the reason is because there's this dichotomy of like, if I am talking about some of the stress that is related to being a breadwinner, that it may sound like I'm not grateful for all the work that has been done to progress the world and help women be in a place to be able to work however they choose, wherever they choose, whenever they choose. So if you're here right now, I'm excited. I get to hang out with you guys before I go have dinner. So if you can hear my voice, if you're watching live, say hello. And if you're watching later, you can type #replay. If you're here and you identify as a primary breadwinner, I want you to just type like me. And, the reason why is want to give you a high five. And so that you and others can know that you're not alone. So again, if you're a primary breadwinner, I want you to just type me in the chat box. And how do you know if you're a primary breadwinner? I wrote down some things that may be telltale signs. If you're like, I've never actually thought about the fact that maybe I'm a primary breadwinner. And when I say primary breadwinner, you may be the only person that's working in the home, or you may have a spouse or significant other that works, but maybe does not contribute financially to the level that you do. And it's not about equality in terms of like contribution. I don't think equal contribution is actually what helps relationships thrive. But these are some of the things that can help you in terms of like maybe identifying that you may be a primary breadwinner and you don't even know it. So number one thing that I have here is you're someone that picks up more shifts. You pick up more opportunities to work so that everyone in the home can get what they need. If that's you, just raise your hands in the chat box and just write me. What that means is that you're probably the primary breadwinner. You're picking up shift. Whether you're employed, you're taking more calls. Whether you're locums, you're doing more. You're doing more hours so that everyone, quote unquote, everyone in the home can get what they think that they need. If that's you, you probably are a breadwinner. Another one is this, and this is not limited to breadwinners, but I see that breadwinners tend to feel this the most. It's when you're looking at your bank account, when the number goes lower than a certain amount, you start to get like palpitations or heartburn or a little bit of anxiety. If that's you, you probably are the primary breadwinner. And part of the reason why it's important to call this out is that there is a level of underlying stress that many primary breadwinners go through or experience that we don't really talk about, right? And the reason why it's important for us to talk about it is that you're not crazy. If you're like, Latifat, I'm struggling with sleeping at night. I'm staying up. I'm stressing out a little bit. Not like I may not look stressed, but there's a background of like stress downloading at the back of my CPU, my computer system, my brain. So you can stop splaining yourself and thinking that maybe there's something wrong with you, when the truth is that maybe you just haven't aligned or accepted the fact that you are a primary breadwinner, and there's related stresses to that that you may not be acknowledging that you need to acknowledge right now. You're not crazy. You're just a breadwinner. Okay, that's number 2. Number 3 is, this may be you. You're someone that when you're the primary person that may be managing your finances in the household, and if you don't do it, it gets ignored. And maybe you actually are ignoring it right now, and ignoring it stresses you out a little bit because you're like, you know that you should not be ignoring it, but if you don't take care of it, it's not going to get taken care of. So it's either not being taken care of at all, or tag your other person. If that's you, I'm looking on my phone so I can see, because sometimes the comments don't comment on my phone. You are a breadwinner. I don't know. Are you? What are you? Are you 3 for 3? 2 for 2? 2 for 3? 1 for 3? What number are you? And then the last one is this. The closer, and I almost want to like give you guys a hug as I'm talking about this. The closer your kids get to college, the more you're getting a little bit anxious about, should I be contributing towards retirement, or should I be contributing towards making sure that their college education can be taken care of? And maybe your kids are still young. Maybe they're like still in kindergarten or elementary school, middle school. But anytime you think about that future, it causes you some stress. And one of the things that I've found is that this stress is even heightened if you're someone who maybe you wish that your family helped you with your part of your education, and you took out a lot of loans, and now you're hoping, wishing that you would help to some extent or full extent your kids. But now the sooner, again, your kids could be in elementary school, but the closer you're getting to that, like, the milestones that are crawling, go from college to work, you're like, oh my goodness, college is coming. College is coming. Retirement versus college. It's actually probably a breadwinner. So I just talked about 4 points. Number 1 is you're picking up more shifts, you're taking up more calls, you're doing more locums, you're finding active ways to earn more money because you want everybody to get what they need. Number 2 is when your account dips below a certain number, you get some tachycardia, heartburn, nervousness. You may not be sleeping well at night. You're stressing. You're a little irritable. You don't even know why, because it's hard for you to verbalize it. Number 3 is tag you're it. If you're not managing the finances, nobody else manages the finances. And then last but not the least is that the closer you get into college for your kids, the more it goes like to the boom, to the boom, to the boom. The more you're like, oh my goodness, retirement or college education? Which one should we do? One, none, what's going on? If that's you, I just talked about 4. I want you to identify how many is yours. Is it 1 out of 4, 2 out of 4, 3 out of 4, 4 out of 4? And again, if that's you, it means that welcome. You're the breadwinner, primary breadwinner in the family. And again, it's so important for you to be aware of this, because even acknowledging that may decrease your stress to by 50%, because now you know that you're not the only person that's going through this. You're not alone. And sometimes when you think you're alone, when it's hard to verbalize to other people in a non-shameful, non-judgmental environment, you start to think that there's something wrong with you, or you may not even be aware that this is why you're stressing. And I will be honest with you, like the conversation that I was having with my husband is that it's not unusual to have women that, that may be married and they're working as physicians and they're the breadwinners. And I've also seen many that, I'm going to compare 2 groups. A woman physician that's married to a guy who works, okay, but the woman is a breadwinner, versus a primary breadwinner married to a guy that does not work, but does not earn as much, but does some non-directly financial, but could have financial implication work to decrease the stress on the breadwinner. And I'll give you an example. So many times, if you think about the stereotype of a stay-home mom, Many times, even if a stay-at-home mom is not working outside of the home, there are situations where the work and the value she's bringing in is actually of monetary value. It could be providing some childcare, partial or full childcare. It could be, making sure the house is stocked with supplies, making sure that, like the project manager, actually, many times when women physicians or women in general are stay-at-home moms, they are also doing the work of a project manager. But the ones that I see that are successful when it comes to women breadwinners that are married to men, it is typically when the man is also functioning as a project manager, because there is financial benefits that may not be like overtly monetary, but has financial value of being a project manager of a home. And you can tell, because even if you're a woman physician that's a breadwinner, if you are also the one doing the work of project management, you know that you're like, man, I need like a manager. I need like a house manager to manage this for me. That tells you that there's monetary value to that. But if you're a breadwinner, what you don't have someone that's doing that work, it weighs on you because it's added stress on you. And so I don't have a solution to how all this is going to go away. However, I have found that there are certain things that helps other women physicians that may be in your position. And as someone that has worked with hundreds and hundreds of women physicians, many of them are breadwinners, which maybe they're single, they may be divorced, they may be married, they may not be married, they may have a partner, a significant other. Like, the bottom line is, from my experience with working with those people, I'm going to tell you some of the things that can be helpful. Okay? And if you're hearing my voice, if you're watching live or you're watching replay, just type #replay. I want to see your score. Are you a 1 for 4, or 2 for 4, a 3 for 4, or a 4 for 4? Okay? And that stuff that I just talked about. So what are the things, some of the things that I found to be so helpful for my clients is, number one, is talking with other women physician breadwinners that get it. Because we have so much fear of being judged, of being shamed, that many times we hide in the secrecy of this. We don't talk about it, or we don't talk about it in the right settings. So we're not getting the kind of support that we could be getting. And that is exhausting. I was talking with someone earlier today. It's a badass woman, not a physician, holding it down, business and all of that stuff. And she was talking about some of the stressors she had. And one of the things that helped her the most was when I said, I get exactly what you're talking about. Like, you don't have to explain it. I get it. And she probably came on that call with a stress level that was this high. And by the time she left the call, the stress level was this low. Not because there was a solution acutely, even though there were some recommendations, but it was literally just hearing someone else say, you don't have to explain yourself. I get it. You're not greedy. You're not selfish. You're not lazy. You're tired, girl. I get it. I get it. I get it. And if you're watching right now, I just want you to know, we get it. You're not alone. We get it. You're not alone. That's number one. Talking with other women physician breadwinners that get it. We get it. You're not alone. Number two, you got to find ways to rest. And I know that many times what ends up happening is, you book that vacation and you're already peri-dead before that vacation. And now when you go to the vacation, you pretty much crash because you were peri-dead before the vacation, right? And what I want to remind you is you need to find ways to rest. And it's not in like rest largely. It could be micro rest. One of the things that I challenge my women physicians inside of the money school is we talk about the arms of wealth. And rest is actually one of the arms of rest, of wealth. And so we literally have people where I'm like, your job, your assignment is to rest. And like, what does that look like? What needs to happen for you to rest? There's never going to be a perfect time. There's always going to be 5 billion things that's calling for your attention. There's even going to be sometimes a temptation to pull one more shift, and you'll find good reason to justify why you cannot rest. But if you're not resting, even if it's like half a day, a week, to just rest and digest and relax, you're going to keep making decisions and taking actions from a sympathetic nervous system, which is not actually going to be helpful for you at all. And I will be honest with you, when you're not resting, it robs you of opportunities that you could potentially have. It robs you of relationships you could have. It robs you of you. Because now it's like you're no longer going to be showing up as yourself because you're tired, you're exhausted, and you don't even know the person looking at you in the mirror anymore. You need rest, and you don't need to earn the rest. You know, a physician, a family medicine physician, sent me a message a couple of days ago, which I was so excited about it. He said, Latifat, I'm taking a month off. I'm going to be resting for a month. That just sounds like music to my ears. And if an academic primary care doctor can do it, maybe you can too. You know, one of my clients was sharing with us recently how, you know, one of the homework, the assignment that we challenged her to was to rest half day a week. And so for her, she rested and the goal was to do nothing. And yes, we found her magic for doing nothing and she was able to do nothing. And as a result of resting, someone actually invited her to go hang out. And she said yes because she was rested. She went there and that led to other invitations. And she was like, I don't think I would have had this opportunity if I did not rest. Rest is not a waste of time. That's why it's literally an arm of wealth. So that's number 2. You need to find ways. And it's not the when you're waiting to like binge on the vacation. No, it's like the micro rest that you need to be able to take care of yourself. The micro rest that you need in order to be able to grow, to be able to refresh yourself. The number 3 is that I want you to start to tell the truth with kindness. Tell the truth. And the reason why I say tell the truth is I find that many of us are going around not telling the truth about how tired we are, what we need, what we can do. You know, one of the things that I challenge myself with is even with my kids is having conversations with them and it's micro conversations. It doesn't have to be huge. So I'll give you an example. Today, I took my kids to swim class where they, you know, for the summer, they have like part of a swim club that did competitive swimming. And we're literally there for like 3 hours, pretty much Monday through Friday. And so I took them this morning and usually we pack a snack bag. They sell snacks there, but we usually take a snack bag. And so, you know, we had snack bags. And then when we got there, after the swimming, my daughter was like, can I get something from the snack bar? And sometimes we say yes. Well, part of what we're doing is teaching them how to be intentional about where their money is going as well. And I said, you know, it's okay that you need a snack. We brought a snack bag. You can get snacks on the bag. It's okay for us to buy things from there sometimes, but we cannot be buying things from there every time. And keep in mind as well that we just paid extra for that dive class you just took. That's happening right now, right? So letting them see the financials so they can start to be more conscious of the decisions that they're making. Not because the snack bar is going to cause like any problems financially, but it's because we want them to have that intentionality and consciousness. We're teaching them how to be conscious about where their money is going to. In this case, it's our money, but we want them to be able to learn because that's part of passing on generational wealth. And so for her, this is like telling her the truth of how to think about money. And one of the things that I found is as women physicians, we put so much pressure on ourselves that we don't tell our loved ones the truth. We don't tell them the truth of how tired we are, the exchange for time versus money, the cost of the sacrifice you're making. Yes, there's a cost. Your presence, the lack of your presence is a cost that's costing your family. We're not really telling the truth about what we need. And while we're not telling the truth about what we need, because of the disappointment we're imagining, the stories that we're telling ourselves, but also the expectations that we have of ourselves, which is usually based on culture. So I'm going to ask you to start telling the truth with kindness. Your kids, your family, your significant other, it's maybe time for them to pull some of the weight as well. You know, I was telling my sister earlier today that my kids they're thinking about how they're going to earn money, not because they need the money, but because we want to teach them how to be good managers of money, how to start seeing it. Right? I was telling my kids, the 2 older, actually the 3 of them, a couple of days ago that if you want to earn good money, it's good to go to places where everybody else is too yield or too afraid to go to or too nervous about doing, right? I can't tell how many times people go like, why are you a GI doctor? I'm like, the money doesn't stink. It doesn't stink. I get to serve and the money doesn't stink, right? And so Most people are going to be unwilling to do things, but when you're willing to do what most people are unwilling to do, it is like automatically you have a path of success there, right? And so telling the truth with kindness is part of what we need to start doing with our loved ones too. And you may be shocked that they may understand. And even if they don't understand, sometimes you just have to let them go process their stuff in their corner. Because at the end of the day, I want you to ask yourself, like, what is this costing you? Your wellness, your mental health, chronic stress. Yes, chronic stress is a huge issue. We know that autoimmune issues are, even if you already had autoimmune disease or illness, your high likelihood of stress or flaring up, the more stress you're carrying, right? So we're carrying so much stress. And part of that is because we're not telling the truth, because we're imagining what the other folks are going to say because we've been conditioned to people please. It's not just you, it's all of us. I continue, like we all are doing this work on a daily basis to help ourselves. So telling the truth with kindness is also going to be paired with decreasing your amount of people pleasing. And that the last but not the least is, if you're a breadwinner, you need to decide what is important to you, what is of value to you, what your heart desires are. And I'm saying the heart desires because sometimes we're thinking with our head, but what we need to do is actually feel with our heart. Because what you're thinking with your head, many times it's like you're thinking about everybody and their mama, what their thoughts are, what they're going to say, you're strategizing. But when you're finding yourself hitting the wall with your strategy brain, it may mean that you need to stop strategizing and need to ask yourself, what does my heart actually want? And so for me right now, to you, I'm asking you, what does your heart want? Maybe your heart wants to cut back down at work. Maybe your heart wants to take a sabbatical. Maybe your heart wants to take a weekend off to rest. Maybe your heart wants to have half day or have scheduled massage once a week, once a month, twice a month. What does your heart want? If you can take a pen and paper and write that down, this is also part of telling the truth. The truth will set you free, right? You will get the truth. And if you can write down the truth and now execute the truth, take action on the truth that's out on paper, you may be surprised by the freedom, the liberation, and the peace that you have even before everything changes. So I hope this is helpful for you. I'm really, really curious to see what number people pick, whether they're like 1 out of 4, 2 out of 4, 3 out of 4, 4 out of 4. And if you've watched so far, I wanted to say thank you for being here. Thank you for watching the video. If this has been helpful for you, I want to hear it in the chat box. Let me know, is this helpful for you? And by the way, if there's any questions you have or anything you would like for me to cover on some of the other platforms that we have on the podcast, on the YouTube, here as a live, let me know. I'm here to serve. And I just want you to know that you are not alone. Again, you are not alone. I'm going to repeat that one more time. You are not alone. All right. I love you. Let me know one thing you're taking away from this call. And again, if I can be of service, make sure you let me know. All right. Cheers to your rich life. Have a good night.